I was driving to work this morning, I was listening to another radio station, as we broadcasters sometimes do. What I heard shocked and saddened me.
The Entertainment Roundtable.
They're here, nerds.
Wait, is this the group that goes around mutilating squirrels?
You just mind your P's and Q's, Buster, and remember who you're dealing with.
Well, at least we found them.
Fortuitous, Captain. And now that we have them all together,
you can't make an omelet without breaking some eggs.
The Entertainment Roundtable.
They make one person go, blah, 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 and the other person go, what are you talking about? And then one person goes, blah, 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 blah.
It's been that way pretty much all day.
It has been an interesting day today.
Yeah, I mean, we're the ones going, blah, 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 blah. And welcome to Friday as we record the Entertainment Roundtable, and wow, just a hectic day. Myself and Jeff been here all day, probably know they're feeling quite well. I'm sure that other people probably know it as well. Welcome back into the studio, David.
Thank you.
Everything good?
No, but I'll pretend it is.
All right, we'll work on that. Jacob, what's up?
Not much.
No? Not a whole lot, huh?
No.
Yeah? One of those days where you're going by?
Yeah, pretty much.
I got you. Ryan, it's been a while, my friend. Welcome back.
Yes, it has been a while. I'm doing very well, Steve. It is glad to be back. It's glad to have most of the Avengers assembled. Let's get to business then.
Yep. Josh still working with the Irwin brothers on their new film, which I think we're about ready to be able to tell exactly what's going on. He's put out a casting call. He says he'll be on the show next week and give more information about that. So maybe we'll find out right here on the show what's going on. Otherwise, I've still sworn to secrecy. I know, but I can't tell.
Is it an epic retelling of Gilgamesh done with sock puppets?
I'm going to say it's an epic retelling, and that's about as far as I can go, because the rest of that, whatever it was that you just said, it's not happening.
I'd watch an epic retelling of Gilgamesh with sock puppets.
Who wouldn't, Jacob?
I know.
I'd want to see it.
David, that sounds like the next thing for you guys.
No.
Oh, come on.
No.
No? You can, by the way, you can still find David online plenty of places.
Oh, yeah, but I thought we already did that.
Oh.
In our own special way.
We do that every week. What are you talking about? By the way, noticing a lot more traffic on the Facebook page for the Entertainment Roundtable. We just in the past week, we got 6 new likes. And I've mentioned many, many times, and will again this week, our good friend Daniel, who often contributes, and I give the information away. I'm noticing a lot more people now actually posting their own stuff onto the Facebook page.
Yeah, I am noticing that too. It's very good. Our word is getting out.
Absolutely. Love it. So anything that you find, don't just alert us about it. By all means, post to the Facebook page. You're more than welcome to do it, and all of us will contribute as we can. Jeff gave a horror film round 2 list.
Exactly. And if you happen to get a piece of news on the Facebook page before Jacob, that's no small feat in and of itself.
Yeah. Jeez, no kidding. All right. So mention the Facebook page, facebook.com/the Entertainment Roundtable. By all means, like it, love it, post to it, tell us what you think about it, whatever. We'd love to have you all as a part of it. A couple of different opportunities this weekend to hear the show as opposed to regular times on Saturday, because NASCAR's got the last Saturday night race of the year this weekend. You will hear us twice again live, but it will be Saturday morning, 5 a.m., Sunday at noontime. The Saturday evening one gets preempted. Top 10 movies of the week, and stop me, Ryan, if you have not done a review of these before, because I know that you got at least one. No Good Deed in at number 10, hanging in there. It's made $50.1 million. Not bad overall. Guardians of the Galaxy still clinging in there at number 9, $323.3 million. Dolphin Tale 2 down to number 8, $3.4 million, so $37.8 there. This is where I leave you falling well back as very, very quickly. It's only made $29 million there. Jacob, you and I talked, I talked about it. I went and saw Left Behind last Thursday night, and while the story itself is good, the acting is not really all that good, and the special effects are flat out horrible. But the faith crowd remembers the books very, very well and came out to the tune of $6.3 million. My question is what that'll do in week number 2. Up to number 5, into the top 5, where The Maze Runner hits $11.6 million. So that lets you know something. The top 5 films making pretty good money this week. $73.5 million for The Maze Runner. Let me make sure that I remember, Ryan, you saying you have a review of this?
Yes, I do. I have seen Maze Runner.
Okay. I have seen it. I liked it. Who else has seen Maze Runner? Was it anybody?
Fall has started, man. I got too much TV now.
I was trying to remember if I had gone with anybody. I think maybe I ended up all by myself. I liked it. I thought it was a good film. I didn't think it was necessarily the best film I'd seen this year, but I think I put it somewhere up in the top 5, so it'll be interesting to see where Ryan comes down with it.
Well, as far as Maze Runner goes, I kind of actually echo what you're saying, Steve. I actually went into this. I didn't read the book ahead of time. I, saw the trailer. It looked appetizing. I was like, all right, I'll check it out. I got to be honest. It was really good. It really was. It was a solid action-adventure movie, a very good start to a franchise. They've already greenlit the sequel, so we already know that the sequel is going to be coming out in the next 2 or so years, so I'm looking forward to that. I thought the acting for the most...
Let me stop you right there. We've talked about this. Aren't they planning on doing this annually?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what we've been told.
Yeah, so I think there are 3 books in this, so yeah, annually they're going to come out with the sequels until they're done.
Right, yeah, around that time. So, but anyway, as far as the film overall, good pace, like the action, like the suspense, like the mystery. Some of the questions we had in the beginning of the film, some were answered, others were not. But I love the lingering mystery. I like the cliffhanger. Overall, I'm going to give Maze Runner an 8 out of 10. This is one of the first really solid films I've seen this fall, and this actually may end up being on my top 10 list when the year is done.
Yeah, it'll be real interesting to see how this all plays out. I've given my thoughts and opinions on the worst 2 or 3 films of the year, and I'm quickly compiling the best of, and Maze Runner is going to be up there. It's not going to be at the top, but it's going to be up there, no doubt about it. So you give it an 8, I gave it a 9, so we're in the same neighborhood there. Week number 2 for the stop-motion Box Trolls film, $11.9 million, $32 million, not bad there. Equalizer, Denzel Washington, $18.7 million, $64.2. Jacob, you and I went to go see this.
Right.
That sounded
I'm
enthusiastic.
so conflicted here because I think Denzel Washington did a great job in the film. It's just that the story is
weak script.
It's inconsistent. It takes so long to set up, and then it just lags in some places. But you'll like it overall because Denzel Washington really does a good job in the film.
Yeah, it's a good movie. It's just a lot of plot holes.
Well, there's that too. So I want to say I can heartily recommend it, but I'm kind of thinking to myself, if you can't find anything better to do, the Equalizer's out there. The horror film Annabelle debuts to $37.1 million. Our horror man over there has got a bad look on his face. You have no desire whatsoever on this film?
I sure don't, no.
Does this number surprise you?
No. I mean, it's a horror film in October.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So by what, November 1st, we expect to see this thing just die?
I bet it's going to have a huge drop this week. I haven't heard many good things about it.
Okay.
Really?
I haven't heard anything about it. So
why don't you care about it?
Because it just didn't interest me. I mean,
some things just don't interest people.
Yeah, and early reactions that I read from my cabal of trusted critics were all like,
"Wow, he's got a cabal."
Wow, yeah. I mean, I do too, but I can't really hate him on that.
I've just got a group.
Yeah, the way you said it though is like there was a purpose or a principle behind you not being interested in it. Like, well, so and so Phil Baker did it, and he doesn't like whales or something. I don't know. I don't know.
No, yeah. When they announced it, I was just it was obviously let's make some money because The Conjuring did good, and there was this doll. It's scary.
Yeah,
let's do it.
Right.
And that brings us to number 1, and it was a battle all the way up until the final numbers came out. $37.1 million for Annabelle, $37.5 million for Gone Girl. This is something that Jacob, you and I had the opportunity to check out last Friday night. I'll go ahead and start with you. Where you want to take this Ben Affleck film?
Well, I absolutely love this. This is one of my favorite mystery thriller movies that I have seen in a long time. The plot is fantastic. The cast is amazing. It's well acted. There are twists upon twists upon twists, and I mean even the twist on the ending. Where most mysteries, the twist is just who did it. What happens after you find that out is the twist to the movie.
Yeah, they do not end on the twist. You're right.
It's such a crazy, like, Gillian Flynn, the writer who actually wrote the screenplay, which I think is why it's such a good, it translates really well, is sick. There's something wrong with that lady because that is such a messed up movie. But just it's such a good. I mean, it's good. The plot is fantastic. It's a 9 out of 10 for me.
9 out of 10.
And does this make you feel better about Affleck being Batman?
Not about being Batman, but it does make me feel better about him continuing to act.
Fair enough.
I can't really argue with anything that he just said, but I'm going to give fair warning because a couple of people up at the radio station here, since they know that we do this show, they come to me and they go, hey, listen, what did you think about this film, or have you seen the film? And I will give the warning here that we got, you and I, Jacob, before we walked into the film, by the management at the Amstar Theater down in Alabaster. This thing is rated R, and it is a hard R. You are going to get nudity, you are going to get words, and you're going to get rather graphic violence, at least in 1 or 2 spots. So with that warning, I have to admit, I can recommend this film. When we got done with the film, I kept thinking to myself, the way that the story came together reminded me of the twist that I never saw coming in the original Wild Things.
Mm-hmm.
And it was done so very well. It was such a neat little twist. And again, it does go a little bit past this final ending that you think would be the place where it would end, and it goes just this little bit further, and it throws that one little extra twist in there, and it's just so good. And I'm going to say that this probably is right about where Jacob is. I'm not going to quite go 9. I wasn't as thrilled with it as, say, I was the Maze Runner, which I did give a 9 and can heartily recommend, but I'm certainly nowhere going to drop this thing down to 7 territory. In fact, I'd probably give this an 8.5. This is, at this point in time, one of the better films of the year, and I can recommend it, again, with the warning of the fact that this gets a hard R, and it deserves the hard R for violence, language, and nudity. So
Also,
not for the faint of heart.
Also to mention, it is a solid 3-hour movie.
Yes,
now,
it is.
Oh,
This is an investment in time.
Granted, there's not a single thing you can take out of the movie. It's paced almost perfectly.
Yeah, everything that they kept in, and it's an unusual thing to say for a film that's this long. But yeah, you're right. I have a hard time trying to figure out exactly where you would take anything out to make this shorter.
This is exciting. I want to see this now.
Yeah, I think you should. I think
I
you
will.
should. Absolutely. All right, and that brings us to what we got coming out this weekend. And there is one movie that might, I think, be a big battle for Gone Girl for what's going to be number 1 next weekend. We'll get to that in a second because I'm not thinking that Dracula Untold is it. Luke Evans, Dominic Cooper. It's about Vlad Tepes, who makes a deal with a supernatural force in order to protect his kingdom and his family, and he becomes Dracula in a storyline that we have never, ever heard put quite this way.
That's why it's untold, Steve.
That's why it's untold,
Yeah.
and I'm not so certain that it should be told, and at some point in time, my neighbor is going to tell me he wants to go see this, and therefore I'll have a review for you.
He knows where the theater is. He's a grown man.
Hey, by the way, when do you guys think that movie titles will just become like clickbait titles from online? Just to be like 21 things you didn't know about Dracula.
That's perfect.
Excellent. Let's see. For families, there is
You'll never believe what girl is gone.
3 life hacks for your dragon.
Oh, for family people, you actually have a Disney live-action film. It's called, and if you want the entire name of it, here it is: Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day. Steve Carell, Jennifer Garner, and others. A Disney live-action movie about a young kid whose day starts off on the wrong foot, and it just keeps going downhill, not only for him, but for the entire family. And then that brings us to The Judge. Been hearing a whole lot of good things about this. Robert Downey Jr., Robert Duvall, Billy Bob Thornton, big city lawyer returning to his hometown, where his father, who happens to be the judge in the town, is also up on murder charges. And apparently it brings the family together. Something you and I want to try and check out tonight, Jacob?
Yes, I'm curious, and because I can't tell from the trailers I've seen of this. Is this more of a comedy or more of a drama? That's what I've been wanting to know.
From what I can tell, it's going to be one of those films that's probably a drama with some comedic elements to it.
If it falls more on the drama side, I'm excited in this. If it falls more on the comedy side, I'm less excited. I don't think it's going to be as good if it's a comedy.
From what I've read, it's much more of a drama.
Okay.
And much more of a drama in the sense that here's how you're supposed to feel. Here's how you're going to feel now. That kind of stuff. But that's that's just what I've heard from my cabal of critics.
There's that cabal again. Anybody else have interest in this, just to be curious?
No.
No interest in that at
I've
all?
already forgotten what the title was.
All right. Ryan, anything?
May wait for this on Redbox because from my sources close to me tell me that this film really isn't all that good, really.
Oh, really?
They've been saying that Duvall and Downey carry the film, but it's very weak. There's nothing new to the table. There's nothing surprising about it. They made it as a passion project because of Downey Jr. and his production company, but it just doesn't land on the right foot.
Well, hey, if you portray Tony Stark and Iron Man and you make the kind of money he has, you got some weight in and around Hollywood. So that said, if you are just not liking anything that we've already said and you want to start looking around for something on a more limited release side of things, you could choose from these if you can find them. Movies like Addicted. There's a movie called Whiplash, which stars J.K. Simmons and Paul Reiser, among others. St. Vincent, which I'm actually looking forward to if I can find it. Bill Murray, Melissa McCarthy, Naomi Watts in there. Just finally today saw a trailer for Kill the Messenger on TV. I guess I should put it that way. Jeremy Renner, Robert Patrick, and others. That one looks somewhat interesting. Not so certain that you're going to be able to find it at a theater near you. Film called One Chance. The documentary I Am Ali about the famed boxer Muhammad Ali. Dead Snow 2, Red versus Dead. I read up a little bit on this. Apparently,
Soviets versus Nazi zombies.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
Well, that sounds amazing in a terrible way. But
Right.
The fact is the fact that they actually came back and they did this a second time. I didn't realize there was a first time for this.
Yeah, Dead Snow.
Anybody, you seen it?
No, I've heard of it. It's
Have you heard of it?
Independent, low budget sort of.
Gotcha. Okay. Two others, The Overnighters and The Devil's Hand. As far as next week is concerned, a few fairly big name releases. The Best of Me, the animated film The Book of Life, Birdman, and the Brad Pitt film called Fury. Speaking of Nazis and World War II, they're in a tank deal.
There's 3 movies next week I'm interested in.
I really want to see Birdman.
Yeah.
All right.
Can you pick out the one I'm not?
I'm going to go Book of Life.
Oh, heck no. That's animated film produced by Guillermo del Toro. I'm all in on that one.
All right. All right.
Yeah,
So you tell me.
Is like
You're not interested in Fury?
Flick kind of movie, isn't it?
Not the best of me. Not the best of me.
You're not into the
good
best
job,
of
Jacob. Good call, buddy. Yeah.
I got you. Off to a lively start here on the Entertainment Roundtable. We don't know where it's going to go, but we'll find out next.
Hope you got your popcorn, because we're back to the Entertainment Roundtable on Superstation 101.
As we come back here, we come back usually, and as we do in this case, to a song that is on the soundtrack to a movie. As I looked this up last week, I couldn't find it anywhere. Turns out that if you are watching the movie Gone Girl, it's actually in there. And it fits. It really does. So that's Don't Fear the Reaper by Blue Oyster Cult. Now, let's see. Jeff, I'm going to start off with you here because you were the first person to get really, really excited about the film Interstellar. This Chris Nolan film with Matthew McConaughey starring.
First person ever.
Yeah, right. But apparently some theater owners are less than thrilled about this. Why?
Well, let's start at the beginning, Steve.
Oh, please do.
If you remember way back in the last century, around
You mean all
1999,
of 14 years ago?
when The Phantom Menace came out, George Lucas sort of slowly started this whole digital projection thing, right? And
Correct.
Then, Avatar really kicked into high gear in a lot of theaters. They got rid of their film projectors and went all digital.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now there's more and more filmmakers that are like, you know what? We're not even shooting. We're going to do it on film, and because that's the way we roll. And Chris Nolan's one of them.
I see what you did there, by the way.
And as a matter of fact, he's like, you know what? If you're going to show Interstellar through a film projector, we'll let you start it 2 days early.
Oh.
So all these theaters who went all digital are like, what the what? So
and that's the vast majority of them. I mean, there are some, obviously, but there aren't a whole lot of projector theaters out there anymore, are there? How many are there? Do we know?
I know that Quentin Tarantino just bought one because,
Yeah.
he's still...
what he's calling people who have a problem with this
Barbarians.
Like, barbarians. Like, what a
little harsh.
What a tool.
little bit, yeah.
Yeah. So if you can find an actual projector theater, you might be able to check out Interstellar 2 days earlier than everybody else.
Yeah, if we had a real IMAX theater in town, they use film.
And do me a favor, don't go. Just don't go. Teach Christopher Nolan we don't care about his stupid pretensions.
Or Quentin Tarantino, for that matter. for calling everybody barbarians.
What's pretentious about it, man? They've only been using it for over 100 years. People know how to use it.
Yeah, you know what's annoying about this? This is just like when everything went to CDs, everyone got rid of their turntable, and then suddenly all these little like whiny emo kids started releasing vinyl again. Like, here's my exclusive content you can only get on vinyl.
Did you complain about Cameron's pretentiousness when he was telling everybody, go digital?
Yes.
Okay, shut up.
Jacob, to you. Disney's got a film out entitled Tomorrowland, or will have a film out entitled that. They got a teaser trailer online, a release date, which is next May. What else do you know about this film?
Well, it's going to star George Clooney. The description, bound by a shared destiny, former boy genius Frank, played by George Clooney, jaded by disillusionment, and Casey, played by Britt Robertson, a bright, optimistic teen bursting with scientific curiosity, embark on a danger-filled mission to unearth the secrets of an enigmatic place somewhere in time and space known only as Tomorrowland.
All right.
What they must do there changes the world and them forever.
This sounds really bad.
Did you see the trailer?
I actually have not watched the trailer.
Anybody watch the trailer for this, other than me?
I've seen it.
Yeah, Ryan, what'd you think?
I liked it. I'm in. You got Brad Bird. You got George Clooney, who, granted, I am never, ever going to be a big fan of, but in this role, I think it suits him. Britt Robertson, I've been following her career since she started, a couple years back on CW's, what is it called, The Secret Circle, so I'm in, man. Bring it.
Jeff?
Well,
No, go ahead, Jacob. What you got, buddy?
No, you go ahead. Yeah.
I mean, all you had to tell me was Brad Bird, and it's got my interest.
Mm-hmm.
The trailer looked pretty interesting.
The trailer looks pretty interesting. I will say I'm probably going to watch this. I'm with you, Ryan. I'm not a humongous fan of George Clooney. There are some roles that I really like him in, but I don't know whether this is going to be one of them or not. But I'm intrigued. I'll probably end up checking it out. Go ahead, Jacob.
Let me throw in the warning that this is co-written by Damon Lindelof, so there's a chance that this ends very confusingly. And also, they're rounding out the cast. It also stars Hugh Laurie, which I think is a good addition.
Okay.
But also rounding out the cast with Judy Greer, Keegan-Michael Key, and Tim McGraw.
The country singer?
The country singer.
Mm-hmm.
Probably just going to be a quick cameo, that's all.
I don't fully I mean, it's like, is it going to be a comedy? Is it not going to be?
Oh, this is drama. From the trailer I gathered, it's drama.
Right, but they've cast comedians in it.
Well,
So what? Comedic actors play dramatic characters all the time, man. Wake up.
Yeah, and Key and Peele were in Fargo, the TV show, which
that's true.
They weren't really. I mean, they had some funny moments, but it wasn't all comedy for them.
Well, it's probably going to end up being like what we were just talking about when it came to The Judge. It'll be a drama with comedic moments. Well, I guess we'll talk about some superhero news here. But we don't usually talk about the comic book side, but that's where, in this case, we're going to begin, or Jacob end, I guess. Tell me a little bit about what's going on with Fantastic Four, and we know that they're planning on rebooting the film franchise. Is what they're doing with the comic books going to affect the movies?
Well, so basically Marvel is starting to realize they're starting to make a ton of money on their movies, which, isn't really a surprise at this point. And so Fox owns both the Fantastic Four characters and the X-Men characters. And so basically Marvel has decided they no longer want to promote the characters for, things they can't make in the movies or make money off of the movies. So they are canceling the Fantastic Four series in 2015. Also, Chris Claremont, one of the writers for the X-Men series, has come out recently and said that they're no longer allowed to create new X-Men characters because that's promoting Fox's movie, and they don't want to do that.
But to be fair, he did say that if they can finagle it into the Marvel Now line, they can actually make movies based on those characters, which we know that they are changing it to Fantastic Forever.
Yeah. So who knows?
We'll just have to wait and see whether this affects the movies at all.
Yeah. I don't know that it affects the movies, other than Marvel will know is stopping. We're not basically Marvel saying we're not promoting stuff that doesn't belong to us.
Gotcha.
So.
Well, let's stick with Fantastic Four, Jacob. One of the stars talking a little bit about that upcoming reboot. It's Michael B. Jordan. What is he saying?
Yeah, he's playing the Human Torch, and he's saying he said surprisingly it's a gritty film. I don't really understand how that's supposed to work, but they said they also have a new look. They said they're all in containment suits for the movie. I don't know how that's going to work. He also threw out that reiterated that this is an origin story for it, and we're getting a retelling. So
I don't understand why it's so hard for everyone to figure out how to make a good Fantastic Four movie. You look at The Incredibles, copy paste, man, copy paste.
Pretty much.
The Incredibles it's Disney's version of Fantastic Four.
Oh, yeah.
And the best version of the Fantastic
and
Four
so
I've
far,
ever
yeah,
seen.
Exactly. So far, the best one yet. Jeff, let's go to something we might actually want to see. Possible Deadpool movie. Been talking about it quite often here. Word is that it is coming. What part of the Marvel universe is this going to be included in, though?
I'll give you 3 guesses, Steve.
And the first 2 don't count?
Right. X marks the spot.
Thank you.
Since Fox owns, obviously they're going to. Simon Kinberg says, yeah, it's going to be part of the X-Men Filmastic universe, which, like everyone else, they looked at all the money Marvel made and decided, we got to build a shared universe.
Yeah, they do.
Because that's the key to it, is just do it.
All right, is there any hope, and I know that this is probably hoping beyond all hope. We've talked about this when it came to Sony, and we'll get to Spider-Man here in a minute. Is there any chance that Fox would collaborate with Disney/Marvel on this stuff?
I would say, like the rumor mill is, that Sony would before Fox.
Well, Laura Schuler-Donner, or whatever her name is, who's a producer of the X-Men movie, says that she really wants to collaborate with Marvel.
Oh, well, that's on how much pull she's got then.
Of course, the thing is, Deadpool is an integral part of it. I don't think it's a big deal that, of course, they would fold it into their X-Men universe. That's where he.
If there was any way for them to do it, if they were smart, they would do it with Deadpool, where they would just be like, "Oh yeah, by the way, this is off his up and over here," but because he breaks the fourth wall all the time.
Yeah, it'd be a great place to start. We'll have to see whether it actually happens. Jacob, rumors always, but we're going to go ahead and mention it simply because it's the world of the Avengers. Apparently, one of the rumors states that some of the original characters, we know that we're not going to be seeing them a whole lot longer, but they're saying that it might actually happen sooner than what we thought.
Yeah, and let me reiterate, this is very, very, very much on the rumor side. But they're saying the third Avengers film may be something completely different and basically have more of the characters from the newer movies, the Ant-Mans, your Doctor Strange, your Guardians of the Galaxy, come in and play, be like the new Avengers for Avengers 3, and then in Avengers 4 have all of the characters come back and do like one giant, massive thing. That seems kind of strange, and a little unwieldy, if you ask me. But who knows?
So again, preface it by saying just a rumor at this point in time. We'll keep you updated if we hear more.
Extremely on the rumor side.
I'm good for whatever Marvel's doing, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. At this point in time, it's kind of hard to argue with what they've done.
Right. If they do it, I'm good. But I mean,
it does seem a little weird, but that's. Hey, that's what they're doing over there. They just keep changing things up over there. Ryan, to you, Robert Downey Jr., who we've talked about in The Judge this weekend. We detailed it earlier. He's talking about his return, or maybe not, as Tony Stark, otherwise known as Iron Man. What's the latest?
Well, he said a lot of different things over a few different days. One day he says Iron Man 4 is going to go down. The next time he's interviewed on another show, he says, well, Iron Man 4 is not happening, but I am in negotiations with Marvel to take part in other projects, whether that be in front of the camera, maybe I'm going to do things behind the camera. We're not sure. Right now we're in negotiations. So we don't know what's going to happen with Iron Man after Avengers 3 because his contract is up. We all know it. But I'm telling you, if they're smart, they'll try to bring RDJ back. If they can't, just retire the character or move on to different characters because Marvel's got 1 billion characters they can use other than Iron Man. So if he wants to move on, then move on to new characters, Jack.
All right, going around the table here real quick. Betting man, yes or no? If you were to bet right now, Robert Downey Jr., Ryan, returns as Iron Man in Iron Man 4, yes or no?
No.
No. Jacob?
I say yes from all of the talk he's doing. He's not talking all this for nothing.
Jeff?
I don't know if he'll do it as an Iron Man 4, but maybe stick around longer than people expect him to.
David?
I say yes, and we'll also have a cameo, at least one, on S.H.I.E.L.D.
That I could actually see.
He's actually said he wants to do it.
That could be cool.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the whole Spider-Man thing here before we run out of superheroes here. And Ryan, going to stay with you on this. This one's specifically related to Sinister Six and Venom. What are they talking about?
Well, as it stands right now, officially anyway, Drew Goddard's Sinister Six film is going to hit theaters everywhere in 2016. The Amazing Spider-Man 3 has been moved to 2018. That's the official word that's coming out. But rumors are now saying that they want to dispense with Spider-Man, reboot it for a second time with a new cast, different characters, but keep going with the Sinister Six film as the new introduction to a potentially new Spider-Man franchise.
How many times are we going to reboot Spider-Man?
None, because you're stupid if you're going to reboot it. If you're going to reboot it a second time, just give the rights back to Marvel, Jack.
I think they should just cancel the movies and make them a part of the Avengers anyway.
It makes you wonder if that rumor doesn't coincide with the rumor that they've been talking with Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, Steve. They all seem crazy over there.
Sony has been having a hard time trying to find the rudder on this ship, apparently. Jeff, last week, as we move away from superheroes to talk about Pierce Brosnan, we talked about the movie entitled Urge, people making designer drugs. Apparently, they've made an addition to the cast, and I know who it is. It just seems so appropriate.
Yeah, if you know that 70s show, and you see that this movie's about drugs, put two and two together, and you get what? Danny Masterson has joined the cast.
It just seems right.
He will play Neil, the cutthroat but secretly lonely hedge fund tycoon who treats his friends to the island getaway, where they have the drugs. So, there you go.
I've gained exactly no interest.
You weren't all that interested last week when we talked about
You say you have no
Yeah.
urge?
No urge.
Gosh. Jacob, trouble apparently on the set of Ted 2. They're going to need a replacement for one actor. He's been fired from the film. Who was fired and why?
It's kind of sad news, actually. Stephen Collins, former Seventh Heaven star, he played the father/pastor on the WB show, has been fired for reports of molesting a child. I think he has been arrested at this point. So, yeah.
So they're looking for somebody else. I wonder who they're going to get.
I don't know. I don't even know what he was supposed to play in that.
He wasn't in the first one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know what he was going to play, but hey, early in the process, just, unplug him, put in somebody else. Ryan, keep getting bits and pieces about a possible sequel to Independence Day. Example, Will Smith said he's out. It appears Jeff Goldblum is in, and he is talking. What is he saying?
He's saying that he's had several conversations with Dean Devlin and Roland Emmerich, who are the producer and director of the first film, and are going to come back for the two sequels, and he's saying that he's up to come back. They're trying to put the right story together with the right characters, the right time, right place. So right now it's looking pretty good that Jeff Goldblum is going to come back. And if he does, fine. But let's all be honest here. These sequels are unwarranted. Nobody wants them. Nobody needs them. Why are they doing it?
With Will Smith being out, who was the central character in the first one, that kind of is a red flag to me. You could probably replace him, but the storyline's going to have to be really good. And let's face it, while it was kind of fun to watch, it was a neat little popcorn movie. Nobody's ever going to mistake this for the best movie of all time.
Well, Will Smith being out and Goldblum still kind of maybe in, that's more of a green light for me.
Right?
Okay.
The aliens are back, and this time they have the new McAfee security patch.
Well, they don't need Will Smith because they've already been welcomed to Earth.
I know, right?
Yeah, well, Jeff Goldblum would be it. You're correct. Let's see if we can't get a couple more in here before we got to go to a break here. Jeff, we're back to you. This one a sequel to the upcoming Terminator film. They're saying it's going to be they're saying that Terminator Genesis is going to not be a reboot, but it is going to be a sequel?
No.
No? What are they saying about this thing?
It's not going to be either, is it?
They're saying none of that business.
Oh, nothing at all.
And we're going to mocap them skeletons.
Yeah.
That's about it. So who knows?
Explain to me.
How does this fit into the pantheon of Terminator then?
It's just a thing,
if
Steve.
It's not a reboot and it's not a sequel. What is it? It can't be an original IP.
Oh, I know what it is. It's like the Man with No Name trilogy. Fistful of dollars for a few dollars or more.
Yeah.
They're not sequels or anything.
Right.
He's not playing the same character.
It's just in that universe.
It's just.
This
It's just
whole
somewhere in that
film
universe.
has got a huge red flag on its back because no one really cares about Terminator anymore. We've moved on, man.
It's got the Connors and it's got Terminators, and it's not a sequel. Therefore, it's not a reboot.
So it's a spinoff.
It's.
Well, that could be.
It's
sure.
That could be the
why
word
not?
of
You
the
could just
day,
call it a
spin-off,
short
yeah.
story.
This needs to be spun off. Good
It's a
night.
It's a poem. It's an epic poem.
There you go. Jacob. Ryan, you love the show Smallville. Well, now, of course, that's off the air, but the star of the show, Tom Welling, keeping busy, is going to star in a film entitled The Choice. Jacob, what's that about?
The Choice, it's a Nicholas Sparks novel adaptation, so take that for what you will. It's he plays a doctor at his father's practice who was also in a love triangle with this girl. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Smallville the movie without superpowers. Woo.
It appears that way, yeah. All right.
Basically.
Two more things here real quick. Recently talked about a new movie studio entitled Revolution. They're making a pretty big splash. They bought the entire library of one production company in particular. Jeff, which one did they purchase, and what might it mean for some of the titles?
Looks like Revolution has bought the Morgan Creek Library. And, 64 film titles, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves being one of them, Ace Ventura, and the Major League franchises. So that means Revolution now has 114 films under their belt, which they didn't make, and 240 TV episodes.
Congrats.
And the question is what, if anything, they're going to do with any of those? Or are they just buying them to get the rights, I guess?
Well, what can you do with those movies?
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to think. I mean, why would you go and remake what was not really a good film in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves? I think Major League has pretty much run its course.
Did you just say Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves was not a good movie?
Are you kidding me, Kevin Costner? Seriously.
Yeah, Robin of Nebraska. Curtis Jenner.
Rickman in that, though?
I'm sorry. I'm thinking of Men in Tights. Never mind.
Yes, exactly. I mean,
keep going.
Yeah, Men in Tights is one thing. Men in Tights was actually inspired by Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves when Carrie Elwes goes, because I can speak in a British accent.
Right.
So, all right. And with the aforementioned listener, Daniel, we talked about in the first segment, let me know about a movie version, apparently, it's being planned of an old TV show. They're working on a movie version of Little House on the Prairie.
No.
And they've gone so far as to actually get a director. Scott Rudin, he just did the well-received, if not box office blockbuster, Marcy May Marlene. So he's going to be the guy that's going to be helming that particular film.
I wonder if we'll see a Michael Landon cameo.
That would be an interesting cameo.
I'd pay for that.
I'd like to see it.
It could be like a Highway to Heaven crossover.
Hey, if they can get Tupac to show up as a hologram, I mean...
Yeah.
Well, there's that. Wow. Hologram in the Little House on the Prairie days.
Little House of Horror on the Prairie.
Yeah, no kidding. We're kind of going back into Star Trek here. Let's do some time travel, shall we? We'll talk about some films, not many, coming out on DVD that you may be able to buy next Tuesday if you are so inclined. That's next.
Hope you got your popcorn, because we're back to the Entertainment Roundtable on Superstation 101.
We had absolutely no idea what the heck to play when it came to TV stuff, so Jeff said, you know what? My choice. Flash by Queen.
I love it.
Just because, the Flash TV show is not Flash Gordon.
That's true. That's true. We'll get to that here in just a second. First things first, only a couple of films out on Blu-ray that you might be able to pick up if you are so inclined next Tuesday. X-Men Days of Future Past and the animated Mr. Peabody and Sherman coming out then. 2 TV collections coming out as well. Season 1 of Fargo, Season 7 of Murdoch Mysteries. I don't even know what the heck that is.
I've heard of it. But...
All right. We have not had the opportunity to really go in depth as far as what it is that we like and what we dislike in the new TV season. So we're going to kind of go into that a little bit more here. David, I'm going to start with you because you mentioned off the air that you really were getting into Gotham.
Yeah.
Anything else catching your eye, or is that the only thing out of the new season so far that's really caught you?
Surprisingly, Arrow has actually, the first episode was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Not much on the Flash. It wasn't as bad as I remember it being, but yeah. So I'm dropping Blacklist and Sleepy Hollow though.
Are you?
What?
Yeah.
The Blacklist is so good.
Hang on, Ryan. You'll get your chance. Hang on.
Keen's character, the girl there.
Lizzie,
they don't know how to write her. She is incompetent sometimes, and then other times she is like the smartest person in the room. I'm really sick of her.
I'm just getting uneven. What is it about Sleepy Hollow?
I realized I had this epiphany that I don't care about the major arc of the show. Like I don't care about the storyline at all.
Gotcha.
And when you're a TV show and you're making your viewers feel like they're not sure if you're a waste of time or not, you shouldn't like spend the first 15 minutes of your first episode of the season tricking them into thinking that they don't remember how the show ended last season.
Gotcha. Jeff, what's catching you, and if anything, what are you willing to drop?
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is so much better.
Oh my gosh.
3 episodes in.
Yeah.
Than it was at all last year. Apparently they read every complaint online over the course of the summer and corrected it.
Okay.
I thought the Flash was pretty good. It's Arrow with a little bit of a lighter tone. The first episode Arrow was good. I'm still digging Sleepy Hollow just because it's completely insane, and it comes on after Gotham, which also Monday nights is like this tonal madhouse on Fox.
All right.
Which I love.
All right. Anything that you're just kind of getting tired of, or anything that you just looked at and said, "There's no way on God's green earth I'm going to check that out"?
There's a new BBC series that I started watching with, but I gave up on. Intruders, which was.
Oh, that was the one with Mira Sorvino.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's really about it. As far as I really haven't picked up a lot of anything new yet, except Flash.
Yeah. All right, Ryan, your turn.
Oh, my goodness. All right, well, as far as stuff that's new to the table, I think The Flash is off to a great start. I'm really into that. A new CBS drama known as Stalker with Maggie Q and Dylan McDermott, I think, is off to a really good start. I think ABC's new dramedy known as Forever with Ian Grufford and Alana de la Garza, who I have a crush on, by the way. That's off to a pretty good start. And, yeah, I mean, it's been pretty good across the board as far as some of the pilots I've seen. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I think that's gotten a lot better. I haven't seen Arrow yet, but I'm getting to that. And then the show I'm going to drop, I tried to get into Criminal Minds, but I'm telling you, even with the addition of the beautiful Jennifer Love Hewitt, it's not doing anything for me, really.
All right. Jacob, where are you going?
Well, I talked a little bit about a couple of these shows, but Gotham, to me, I'm starting it. It's okay. I just feel like it's struggling to find an identity, so I'm not sold on that one yet. Also talked about Grace Point, which got better in the episode 2. It's a remake of a British show. And they actually deviated a good bit, where in the first episode it was almost shot for shot the same. So in the second episode they deviated a bit, so it's going to be a different story. It's just so that was eased my nerves on that one a little bit. Caught The Flash this week. Really, really enjoyed it. A little nervous that it's got a little bit of Smallville teenage angst drama there, but I've got good hopes for that one. And Arrow was great this week. So.
Anything that you're preparing to drop?
I think Gotham is on the bubble for me.
Okay.
But that's it as far as really.
I enjoy Gotham though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good.
Right now, yeah, I'm into Gotham as I've gotten further into it. The first episode, I'm kind of with you, Jacob, on that, in the fact that it seemed a little uneven. They were trying to throw everybody into the mix all at the same time, and it was just, let's introduce everybody first. And it took a little bit. By the second episode, it started to find its feet. So
the best thing
I think
they could
now
do is
it's
get
really
rid of
starting
Jada
to go
Pinkett.
well. Yeah,
she's over the top.
I see that. Yeah,
she's
she
like
is a little
Uma
over the
Thurman,
top,
man.
Yeah. So I'm liking Gotham. I'm still liking Blacklist, but I'm with you on Sleepy Hollow. Sleepy Hollow is starting to lose me a little bit. I'm going to stick with it for a couple more episodes and see where it goes, but it's starting to lose me some. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., yeah, I think we're all in agreement. It has definitely picked up its game. I'm really, really liking that. As far as something that I can't take anymore, there's nothing there, and it's kind of strange to think about that. But like I said, Sleepy Hollow's on the bubble. Most of the stuff that I would think about dropping, I dropped last year.
Yeah.
Except for Sleepy Hollow. And again, that's the one for me. You mentioned that Gotham's on the bubble for you, Jacob. This Sleepy Hollow is the one that's on the bubble for me.
And Jacob's list reminded me, I watched the first episode of Grace Point and then promptly canceled recording it.
No. There you go. And I will say this. I had totally whiffed on getting a Flash, so I have not seen it yet. I'm going to have to go back.
Come on, Steve.
I'm going to have to go back and check it online, but I've got my DVR now set, and we'll pick it up. So I will watch it online before I get to the second
They'll
one.
probably play it sometime this weekend.
I looked for it. I didn't see it.
Okay, I guess not.
But yeah, it'll be online, so I'm not worried
It went
about it.
by too quick for you, man.
Yeah,
the
no
Flash.
kidding. It's just he flashed right by. A couple of things, Jacob. NBC working to make sure that they got a full schedule. Decided on the future of the show Hollywood Game Night. They've also decided on shows like Constantine and the Mysteries of Laura. Constantine hasn't even aired.
Yeah, Hollywood Game Night, they've renewed for a third season.
Okay.
Which I've seen an episode of that show. It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's an interesting show. Mysteries of Laura, which despite being on our list of 5 worst pilots from the year.
Yeah, we talked about that last week.
Oh, you did?
Constantine, which hasn't even aired yet, have gotten 3 additional script orders from NBC.
All right. Movies made into TV shows, nothing new. Jacob, apparently, though, they're going back to an old John Candy film, and there are so many John Candy films that I could think that would be good. This one wasn't the one I was expecting they'd pull.
Yeah, they're going to try to do a TV version of Uncle Buck, John Candy, Macaulay Culkin movie from the 80s. It's going to be a half-hour show. It's going to still have the same plot line, childish man has to learn how to be an adult by taking care of his brother's kids in a very childish way. Which the interesting thing is, and I didn't realize this until I'd read this is the second time they've tried to make this into a TV show. They tried to do this once in 1990.
And now they're going to fail again.
And they're going to fail again, you're right.
Yeah, it only went for one season on CBS. So.
Ryan, to you, ABC is going to be airing the movie, which is the introduction to Star Wars Rebels, so they're pulling it off to Disney XD after they run it. But the thing about it is after Disney XD gets it, ABC is going to get it, and they're going to have one that's a little bit different from the Disney version?
Apparently so. Star Wars Rebels, Spark of Rebellion is going to air once again. It's going to be on Sunday night, October the 26th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, featuring an all-new scene with James Earl Jones reprising the iconic voiceover of Darth Vader. So Darth Vader is going to make an appearance in this pilot.
That was actually good. See, I didn't watch any Clone Wars, so this is my first foray into the Star Wars animated.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really good. I dug it a lot.
Cool.
I liked the first episode. I saw it. I thought it was really good, too, yeah.
All right. Speaking of animated shows, well, I don't know whether they're going to do animated on this or not, but TV shows or comic books made into TV shows, comic books made into movies. Obviously, we've been talking about that for quite some time, but apparently Fox Network wants to build upon a comic book made into a movie series. X-Men, really? They want to do a series?
Yeah, there is a rumor that Fox is in deep development for a live-action X-Men TV show. And that's
Never
really
gonna happen.
That's really about it.
I don't know where they're going to go with it.
That is never going to happen.
I mean,
they did Generation X back in the 90s.
Right. I mean,
one pilot.
I wouldn't mind seeing like something like a New Mutants where it's, school and occasionally they get drawn into something.
No.
Yeah, I mean, if it's like completely different X-Men characters that aren't from the movie, I'd be okay with it.
I would be okay with it if they just started back at the beginning and just with like Marvel Girl, Cyclops, Iceman.
Started all over again?
Just like outside of the Fox movies are outside of their own continuity. So you see what I'm getting at.
There you go. CBS, the two summer shows, which just recently ended, Under the Dome and Extant Ryan. They like these shows, or are they going to keep them? They're going to lose them? What?
They are going to keep Under the Dome and Extent. They'll be renewed for a new season consisting, I believe, of 13 episodes each. They're going to premiere in the summertime once again on the CBS network, but they have made the great decision to cancel the legal dramedy, I guess it was, called Reckless, and I never watched it, so I really don't care.
Yeah, not a whole lot of people did, which is why they canceled it. One more note here, and then we're going to talk a little bit about the movie draft that we did. So, yeah, a lot of stuff that's not going to get talked about, but I do want to talk about the aforementioned Arrow. Apparently, Jacob, they offered a role to Liam Neeson first. Which role? Secondly, did he accept the post?
Well, they originally offered the role of Ra's al Ghul, him reprising the role of Ra's al Ghul, in the show Arrow. They just kind of like, they didn't expect him to do it, but they were just like, yeah, let's just throw it out there and see if he'll do it. He said he was interested, he just didn't have time. He was filming a couple of other movies at the time, and so he couldn't do it. And so now Australian actor Matt Nable will be playing in the fourth episode of this season.
All right. Well, we just wrapped things up. Congratulations once again to you, sir, Jeff.
Hey, thanks, buddy.
Winning the Summer Movie League draft. Just shy of $900 million in total.
Good God.
Jacob, you came across something that was fairly interesting because the man who's complaining over here and booing finished last. What did you note?
Well, first of all, not only did he pick the lowest grossing movie on the list, it actually not only did he pick of all of the ones we picked,
right?
He picked the lowest grossing movie on all of the movies, even the movies that didn't get picked.
Wow.
I went back and looked in and saw if he'd have picked it was $1 Million Arm, which was of the ones that were undrafted that made the most money.
Yeah.
Still wouldn't have had enough to be out of last place.
That is really impressive.
Wow, thanks for rubbing it in my face, guys.
Well, you have a chance to redeem yourself because we're going to do a Winter Movie League draft.
Yay, I want payback, man.
We're going to have to figure out a time on this one because next week we're going to actually pre-record on Thursday because of Talladega Super Speedway weekend. Ryan, you said that you were not going to be able to make it next Thursday?
Right, yeah, I have other priorities. Sorry.
Okay, so we might be right up against the corner, but maybe 2 weeks from today we start in and we can start with movies that are released on Halloween, which include Nightcrawler and Horns. Do we want to go all the way through? Because there are some fairly big movies out there. Jacob, you got it listed all the way out through February the 13th of next year, 50 Shades of Grey and Kingsman. We willing to go that far? End of February?
I feel like if we don't, there's movies that, or we're not going to have enough movies to actually draft.
Gotcha.
So.
Does that work for everybody?
Yes.
Yep. All right.
Yeah,
So we're in. We're ready to go. We'll do that 2 weeks from now live on the air. Josh probably not going to be able to take part of it, but I'll double check and make sure. And this time, instead of 5, we're only going to do 3 movies per each person. Ryan, we can find you online. Where can we find you, sir?
On Facebook at Ryan Matthews and on Twitter at RyanRPM5.
Where can we find you online, David?
Comedy sketches, web series, maladjusted.tv.
All right, Jacob, I will see you tonight. We'll go check out The Judge, for better or worse.
You come to judge. You come to judge.
Jeff, have yourself a fantastic weekend.
Thanks, buddy. You too.
I will do the very best that I can. Coming up, if you're on Saturdays, Joe Lockett Show. If you're on Sunday afternoons, I have no